Good Samaritan is the 11th episode of the 6th season of Frasier. This is directed by Sheldon Epps, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. While I think it's addressing a really important topic, I don't think it's a very interesting episode. And the ending, or I guess the penultimate scene, feels so bizarre that it almost feels like something is missing. And I'll talk about that when we get there. The episode starts off at Cafe Nervosa. Frasier is there with Roz. We find out that Freddie is coming to visit, and somebody has dropped their wallet. Frasier picks it up, and just as he's about to hand it in at the desk, at the till, the person who owns the wallet, comes in and says, "That's my wallet," and Frasier gives it back to him. He knows it's him because he saw the photo on the inside, and he is missing, I think he said $7, and instantly the person accuses Frasier of taking his money, which I don't completely think is out of the ordinary, because Frasier is holding his wallet and the money is allegedly missing. But at the same time, there's no way to prove it was Frasier, and we know it wasn't Frasier. But Frasier was understandably annoyed that he'd been accused of stealing, but he tells Roz that he thinks people are inherently good. Bulldog then comes in and asks them to cover his late night slot because his mother is unwell, and Roz doesn't believe him. Frasier does, and Roz speaks to Bulldog's mother on the phone, making fun of her because she doesn't think it's his mother. Turns out it is, but we very quickly learn, Roz and Frasier don't, that Bulldog was just lying and his mother was in on it. I have to say, I did enjoy this moment because Niles is just patting balloons. Apparently he's drying off the powder that they came with, and Frasier comes in the elevator with Frederick, and I don't know why I called him Frederick. I always call him Freddie. And we have this brief surprise party with Freddie, and then Lilith calls, and we get to see the Louis Pasteur cake, which I thought was an absolute joy. It's the fact that somebody actually had to make that for the show, which I absolutely love. And we're then down at KCL, and honestly, not really a lot has happened at this point that I really enjoy. And I feel like from this point on, it's okay. But there are a few things that I don't love. But there was one moment that I really liked. We'll get to that in a second. Frasier is down at KCL. He gets a call from somebody who Frasier actually helped earlier on in the day. He helped him with his tire, and apparently his cufflinks had scratched this person's tire. So his good deed was thrown back in his face. And Frasier is then in his car in the rain. Beautiful atmosphere. I love the rain. And he gives a strange woman, by which I mean she's a stranger, a lift, or so he thinks. And it turns out, first of all, don't get into a stranger's car, even if it is pouring down with rain. That's a terrible thing to do. But nevertheless, this person gets in his car, and it turns out it's a prostitute, and there are cops. And Frasier gets arrested, and Martin and Niles have to come and bail him out, and Niles is really embarrassed. This was his precinct, and it's fine. It's not a great scene, but it's okay. Unfortunately, Frasier is now hot news because it's all over the paper that Dr. Frasier Crane was arrested in this situation, and Frasier shouts it at Freddie when he goes to look at the paper because obviously he doesn't want Freddie to see what happened. But then I do admire Frasier for sitting Freddie down, and, well, he said to him, and this is the bit I liked, "For the next couple of days, you're going to hear some rather nasty stories and some snide remarks about your old man." To which Freddie responds, "Mom's coming?" Which I did enjoy. I really like that. Although I don't like the fact that Lilith is bad-mouthing Frasier to Freddie, because I feel like one of the basic rules of being a parent is don't badmouth the other parent to the child, because it's not a good look. And if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. But of course, we would be without this joke, so it works well enough. And he explains what happened to Freddie, and Freddie asks him, "So what are you saying, Dad? You shouldn't try to help people?" And Frasier kind of goes, "Well," and then it cuts. And this is the bit that just feels like something's missing. It cuts to Frasier in his car again, and it's raining, and he lets a woman in his car, and it turns out it's somebody from his building, and he's giving her a lift, and the good deed worked out well. So I understand what they're saying. Freddie asked this question, And Frasier realised actually that's not the message to take away from this. I will help somebody again, and we see him helping somebody again. But it just felt really, really badly edited, the transition between those two scenes. It feels like something is missing. And I don't know if that's the case. I'm watching this on Amazon Prime, on Paramount on Prime, but it does feel like they overran and they needed to cut something. So it just felt, again, I know what they're doing, but it just didn't feel very well done. I don't think that worked out quite well. I think we just needed a couple more lines from Frasier. And then we end with Freddie curling up with Daphne, which was a bit weird, but it worked. It worked well enough for the end of the episode. So honestly, I feel like on the one hand, they do a good job of showcasing good deeds and how it might backfire. But at the same time, it's not a very entertaining episode. I didn't like it very much. I didn't find it to be very amusing. It was fine. There's nothing, well, I was going to say there's nothing wrong with it. That's not right. The scene, the editing towards the end just felt really, really poor. I'm willing to say that maybe it's a different edit, maybe on broadcast, or maybe the DVD version is slightly different, but I also have no reason to believe that. So, benefit of the doubt, I guess. But other than that, I guess it's an okay episode, but I didn't really care for it. That being said, I doubt I'd skip it. If I'm binge watching season 6, it's not terrible, so I'd probably watch it. So I will watch it again at some point. But needless to say, Good Samaritan is not a personal favourite episode of Frasier.